Hey guys, welcome to day 5 of Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. We have finished chapter 1 and we're going to be getting started on chapter 2 today. Our do now just says to begin reading, and if you've already finished reading, summarize what happens in those pages. So that's just getting started on chapter 2. Before we do that, our first CTQ question actually is going back at what we've already done, because our learning target today, I can use what I already know about a character to explain what they're thinking. So looking at what I already know about a character, so traits and motivations, and looking at what they are probably thinking. So we're gonna make a guess. So we are guessing based on what we already know about them. So we're going to practice that with our CTQ1, and that's actually going to be taking us back to pages 30 to 31, and then that's going to help us answer our second CTQ for today. So CTQ1 says, what's Mama really thinking about as she remains at her desk sitting very still? So first team, we're going to go back to pages 30 and 31, try to find where that quote is, where that moment in the text is happening. Pause the video, go back, put a star by it once you find it in the text. Excellent. So we are seeing that that is on page 31. So it's right at the start of that paragraph. So it says, Mama remained at her desk sitting very still. So we need to think about first, what do we already know about Mama? What's important to her? What motivates her? Second, what's happening in the story right now? Go back and reread pages 30 and 31. What's happening in the story right now? Think about what just happened with Cassie and her teacher, Miss Crocker. Now think about, we're going to make a guess as to why is Mom sitting at her desk, sitting very still? What is she probably thinking in this moment? So we're going to go back into the text and see, where do we see what's happening? So just now, her children just refused to take the books because of the state of them and what they read in the cover page. And Mama responds by, on page 30 and 31, gluing paper on top of those pages and kind of fixing for her kids those two books. Then on page 31, we see that she tells Miss Crocker that she's going to do the same thing to every book for her own students. So as we're looking at this, we see that she tells, on page 31 right here, this starred paragraph right here, she says, it will be easy enough for anyone to see whose responsibility is Daisy, Miss Crocker, by opening up any 7th grade book, because tomorrow I'm going to mess them up too. Notice that mess them up is in quotation marks. It's kind of like she's like mocking what Miss Crocker said about messing up the books, and that she intends to do the same thing to hers. After sitting still for a long time, she did not move. So think about, she's sitting there for a long time not moving. It's unlikely she's sitting there doing nothing. So think about, what is she probably thinking about right now? Then it says when she did move, she picked up a 7th grade book and began to glue again. So think about here, what is she thinking that goes from that conversation with Miss Crocker into her now gluing on the books? Why does she decide to glue all the 7th grade books? Why did she glue Cassie and Little Man's books? At the end of page 31, it says that she was going to wait because there's no rush. She understood. We need to ask ourselves, what does Cassie say that Mama understands? With all that in mind, I want you to think about, what is Mama probably thinking about? Pencils up, voices off, bodies in working slant. Got to get that slant back in there, team. Head back in, pause the video, go ahead and continue working on CTQ1, and if you have any questions, reach out. Once you're finished with CTQ1, including 2 pieces of text evidence to show what she's thinking based off what we know about her, continue the video to answer question 2. All right, team, question 2 today asks, why does Papa respond quietly when he's asked how long he will be home? This is the same thinking as the question that we just did. So let's find first, where do we see that Papa's asked how long he will be home? Where in the book does that happen? So we're going to get into chapter 2 right now and see if you can find where that happens and you should be ending up on page 36. So we need to think about, what do we know about Papa and what's going on in his head? What's he probably thinking about when all his kids and his wife and his mother-in-law are really excited and happy that he's home, but then they're finding out that he has to go. So we see on page 36, it says, Papa looked across. Till Sunday evening, he said quietly. So this is the part that our question's asking us about. So remember, that means that can't be our text evidence because that's in the question. So Sunday, Mama explained why. Today's already Saturday. So think about, how is Mama reacting? Is it positive or negative to that news? And then it says, Papa takes her hand, but I gotta get that night train. So when he's taking her hand, how is he reacting? I have an annotation here that he's comforting her. So when he takes the hand, and he says, I know, baby. He takes her hand. So think about, he's comforting her here. So what is he probably thinking or feeling in that moment? And what's his family feeling? Then we see his kids' reactions. It says, Christopher John, little man, and I groaned loudly, and Papa turned to us. And then it says, Papa, can't you stay no longer than that? Last time you stayed home, or you came home, you stayed a week. So think about, again, is the kid's reaction positive or negative? And then Papa's response. Papa gently pulled one of my pigtails. So again, he's kind of being playful, comforting. Think about, how does Papa probably feel because he's not able to stay home with his family? What does he wish? What does his family wish? How does he feel about having to leave home to go work on the rail yards? Once you've thought through that, go ahead and answer our group discussion question, or our CTQ2 for today. Why does Papa respond quietly when asked how long he will be home? Think about, how does he feel? What does he want? But also think about, this is all in response to his family feels or wants. So make sure you're including both of those answers in there, and think about, what's the impact? Why does Papa respond the way that he does when Cassie, his sons, and his wife all ask why he's not staying longer? Great job today, guys. Make sure you're answering both questions, and reach out if you are feeling confused at all. Thanks, guys.